The Horn.
Into the front court is Rice. Jabari, guarded by Yesufu, draws a high screen from Cunningham, uses it to roll the dribble, now out to Cunningham. Brock squares up for three and nails it. Cunningham knocks down his first shot. Texas back in front, 15-13. Longhorns have it. Off to Jabari Rice, top of the arc to the left wing. Sends it to Arterio Morris. Now it goes to Bishop. It's broken up by Uday, but Christian able to get it back. Here's Bishop. Stops, top of the arc, still on the dribble, drives in and scores off the glass. 3:38 to go in the half. Here's Marcus, top of the arc, weaving through traffic, puts it off the glass. It's good and he's fouled. What a drive to the hoop by Marcus Carr. Great body control. Banked it off the glass, got the bucket and one. To the right side is Jabari Rice. Out to Morris, open for three. Good! Arterio drains the three-pointer. Instant offense off the bench. The Longhorns with their largest lead of the first half, up 7, 35-28. Down to 10 seconds. Still on the dribble. 8-7 with a bounce pass to Cunningham. Down to 5. Drops it to Carr. Marcus, 3-2. Drive into the hoop. Puts it off the glass. It rattles in. And the Longhorns will take a 6-point lead into the locker room. Ran it all the way down to the final second. And Marcus Carr's driving bank shot puts Texas up at halftime, 39-33. Now to Bishop, left side. Driving. Bishop drops it back behind. Marcus Carr for three. Good! Marcus knocks it down. 13 points in the game for Carr. Texas up double digits for the first time today. Up 11, 52-41. Now Carr dribbles in. He's pushed from behind, but got rid of the ball to Cunningham. Turns, spins, fade away in the lane. Good! Brock Cunningham with 8. Texas back up 12, matching their largest lead. It's 55-43. Now works at top of the arc. Here's Marcus. Down the lane. Pass deflected in the corner. Rice measures up a three. No good. Offensive rebound to Sue. Missed it underneath. Cunningham an offensive rebound. Missed it underneath. Has it again. Brock, a dribble. Needs help. Into Rice. He lays it in. And he's fouled. How about team basketball there by the Longhorns? Dillon, 8 on the shot clock, still working the dribble against M.J. Rice. Turns with a jump stop in the lane. In some trouble, then spins around and drops it in with the right hand. He took M.J. Rice to school. Texas is schooling third-ranked Kansas. They're up 18 with 5:40 to go. Here's Wilson again. Top of the arc, dribbles in, drops a pass back to Joseph Yesufu. Down the lane, ball knocked out of his hands by Cunningham. Longhorns have it on a run out. 3-on-1. Rice, lob it in. A one-handed throwdown. Texas up 20. They're blowing out Kansas in Kansas City. Yesufu drives down the lane, high off the glass, missed it, and the rebound, Bott has it. And that's going to do it. The Longhorns are going to win the Big 12 Conference Tournament Championship by, get this, 20 points over the Kansas Jayhawks. The Big 12 Conference Tournament champions, the Texas Longhorns, for 2023. Final score, Texas 76, Kansas 56.
And with that, it's on to the dance. One conference tournament in the books, now the bigger tournament on stage. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Light the Tower on the Horn, 104.9, 101.9, AM 1260. We're live, local, and digital on the Horn app and at hornfm.com. Thanks to our producer, Cameron Parker, for putting together the highlight montage of the Texas Longhorns Big 12 Conference Tournament Championship win on Saturday night over the Kansas Jayhawks. My name is Craig Way. Glad to have you with us this morning. Always pleased to be joined by my co-host, the pride of Northwest Williamson County, proud graduate of Florence High School.
Always.
He wore the purple and white number 79 jersey when he was an honorable mention all-district offensive lineman for the Florence Buffaloes. But you know him best for his outstanding work at Horns 24/7. That's Jeff Howe.
If Cole Bott makes the highlight montage, it's either really, really good or really, really bad. And in this case, it was really, really good.
Yeah, it was, and glad that I got to say Cole Bott's name out there as well as the other guys who got out there, Gavin Perryman, the other guys who got out there late there inside the final couple of minutes of the game. When
you like that? That's
celebrating.
what I took from the highlight
Cole
montage
Bott.
of a conference championship.
Works. Cole Bott. Yeah, and I'm okay with that.
Maybe it's just me, and I've just got PTSD from following this program as long as I have. I didn't feel good about things, like feeling like, okay, I can go ahead and get started on, pushing our content out for winning a conference championship. Once the Jabari Rice lob to Arterio Morris happened, at that point, I'm like, all right, you're up 20 with about 3.5 left. Okay, yeah, I think I think it's good.
You're safe to go with it then?
I think we're in the safe zone.
That is, and I'm sure you've seen it, that was a spectacular photo that was taken of Morris finishing that lob slam.
Jamie Squire was the photog from Getty that took that, and I was just looking at that because we have a Getty image database.
Okay,
Horns 24/7. I was just looking at it like I can't get over how spectacular that thing is.
That's one of those things you'd see. That Getty Images has captured over the years. Sports Illustrated photographers have done that. That's a Neil Leifer type of photo.
That would have been on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
Yeah,
back when that meant something.
Yeah, it did. The guy who means a lot to us is our producer, Cameron Parker, who was dispatched to be the spot starter, so to speak, over the weekend and call Texas softball all 5 games of the Bevo Classic by himself, in place of Andrew Haynes, who was out, and Andrew will be back this week. Cameron was asking me in advance of that event if there are any specific secrets to voice maintenance and making sure you don't lose your voice and all this other kind of stuff. I got back to my hotel late Saturday night after the Texas victory, and I went back to the hotel and grabbed a bite to eat with the team and things like that. And then when I got up to the room, I noticed there was a tweet about the game going the 11th inning. I thought, no, really?
I saw that.
I thought, Cam is still up. So I dialed it in, and there he was, closing it out. And I thought your voice held up well. I could tell it had a little wear and tear on it, but then again, I live that world, so I understand it. But how you feeling this morning?
Yeah, the allergies didn't help either.
Yeah.
I saw Alex Loeb yesterday. He was calling the game for LHN. He's like, how do you have your voice still? And I was like, it's hanging on. Those Celestial Seizing teas helped me throughout the week for my voice, and it was a fun weekend. I thought maybe it was a good luck charm because on Saturday after the Wisconsin game, Texas hadn't lost anything in athletics. Scotty Scheffler was leading the Players' Championship, and then Texas unfortunately dropped back-to-back games with the longest game at McCombs Field since 2017, the largest field in McCombs history, so it goes both ways.
And it's the first time they've had back-to-back extra inning games in 6 or 7 years, something like that?
They didn't have any extra inning games this year. Neither did Alabama. But back-to-back, first time losing 2 straight losses, but Texas State, they had only played 4 games. Texas played 5, so maybe a little bit of fatigue, and that extra inning game went super late, and then you had daylight savings time on top of that, so it was a weird Sunday.
What a beating. So, Cameron, you just went with tea? You didn't go with, like, Ron Burgundy and some scotch or nothing like that for the throat?
Maybe, like, the 14th inning, if we got to that point. But
he asked me for some tips, and I said, and I've said this on the air before because a lot of people ask me. I got asked 4 or 5 times during the weekend, how are you doing this? Because I did 6 games, the 3 men's games, the 3 women's games. And I wanted to say, you don't understand. If the men had lost Friday, I was going to fly back here and do 4 UIL state tournament games for TV Saturday and then go back and do the women's game Sunday, which is what I did last year. So there's workload and then there's workload. But to answer their questions, and Cam as well, a lot of it's just preventive maintenance and rest. And rest comes at a real premium, especially for me this time of year. But he mentioned the herbal tea, whether it's celestial seasonings. I'll use that lemon zinger out of that, and then let that bag steep in there a good 5 or 6 minutes.
Some strong herbs.
Yeah, and then take a tablespoon and use a full heaping tablespoon of local honey. It's got more homeopathic properties in it. And then put some lemon juice in it. It can either be from an actual lemon or it can be one of the plastic squirt bottle. Yeah. It doesn't really matter that much. And add that in there. I said it'll make it feel better and all that. It'll soften it up. I'm sure it helps you. It softens it up. It's not a cure-all by any stretch, but it does help in terms of how your throat feels.
Yeah, it's better than nothing because by like the 4th, 3rd inning yesterday, it was like I got to get some cough drops in because the throat was so dry. And I'm sure you feel the same way by probably like Sunday. You just know you're close to maybe a breaking point.
Whiskey shot clear you up. Cam.
Now, that's where the layman, and I don't blame Jeff for this because he's the layman in this situation, would be incorrect. As much as it might feel better, whiskey, and this is from an avowed Scotch consumer, whiskey constricts the vocal cords. The caffeine constricts the vocal cords. You don't want to use that sort of thing Just as you don't want caffeinated, carbonated beverages, it does the same thing. Caffeine.
Yeah, so if you guys hear me gagging on the air, choking, I'm
sticking with
Coke Zero.
Hey, listen, I try to limit myself to a cup of coffee a day. Sometimes that's a little more difficult to do, so I'm savoring the one I got right now. Anyway.
Whatever you do, Cam, don't think lean is a good way to relax the voice. You might think, oh, cough syrup.
Lean, yeah.
That'd be a nice way. No, that's just as long as you don't go down that road. I think whatever treatment you rely on will be fine.
And I would imagine you're able to throttle back a little bit this week in terms of your game schedule. Is that correct? You got
Round Rock baseball tomorrow and Wednesday night, possibly.
Okay.
Not too bad.
Greg, you think any amateurs in your profession have ever done that, like play-by-play voices, thinking like, well, I mean, lean has cough syrup in it, so maybe that'll clear my throat up.
I hope not.
I would hope not either.
Yeah.
I just randomly thought of that. I'm sure somebody has at some point.
Yeah. On the program, we're gonna hear. These were a lot of fun. So there's some vignettes, if you will, our courtside interviews right after the Longhorns won the Big 12 championship. Easy. You big fella. Hopefully it'll get to that. Winning the Big 12 tournament championship, and it was kind of mixed in between the actual celebration and the actual cutting down of the net, because guys were like filtering in and out.
In betweenst.
Yes. And that included when Rodney Terry had just finished cutting down that net, that what may become iconic shot of him waving that net after doing that. So we'll hear them. We'll do them in the order in which they're presented, in which they came to us. Coming up, we'll do that. Obviously, there's plenty of bracket conversation. Get the early thoughts on the bracket, so we'll do that.
I love how the selection committee just telegraphed where Texas was going to be.
Oh, you could tell it pretty early.
I figured, because we had a little thread on the flagship message board at Horns 24/7, like, is Texas getting a 1? I was like, I don't think they're getting a 1. Yeah. And then when they announced Houston, because I figured Texas would be paired up with Houston, because I was thinking Houston would be. This is when I was still thinking Houston would be the lowest of the 4 1 seeds.
Yeah.
Texas would probably be the highest too. So I was like, Texas getting paired up with Houston. I thought that would be in Vegas, thinking Kansas would wind up in the Midwest. But then I'm seeing the bracket. I'm like, Texas is going to be the 2. They're going to be the 2 here. And then when I saw A&M as the 7, I'm like, yes, Texas will be the 2.
When the minute they announced that, with Houston being slated for Kansas City in that region, our producer and good friend and broadcast colleague Dave Garrett texted me. Now, at the time, I was watching the men's selection show in a meeting room at the team hotel with the Texas women, because after they lost the Big 12 tournament title, it wasn't going to work to be able to try to watch the selection show while flying back like they were able to do last year. The particular aircraft they had wasn't going to be capable of that. So they made the decision that they were going to watch the selection show from the hotel. Now, that added about 3 hours to the itinerary because you had to wait for that and all that. But they all want to be – and ESPN wanted them on camera too. And so they did. They set it up for that. But prior to that, they're watching the men's show. So we're sitting there watching, and all of a sudden when that comes up with Houston, I get a text from Dave, and he goes, he said, we're going to be in Des Moines, and if Texas wins 2 games, Kansas City. And he was spot on with that. And I think even Joe Lunardi on Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon had Texas in Des Moines. And I was like, really? He by the way, for those of you who are keeping score, he got 67 of the 68 teams in the field, correct? The one he missed, he had Rutgers in instead of Nevada. So that was the one he missed. And he got
shout out to Will Baker for getting to the NCAA tournament.
Absolutely, and I watched them play this year, and they had some nice wins. So anyway,
I saw that clip of the Utah State game where it opens up with five straight Will Baker threes to open the game.
Yeah, exactly. So it was an awful lot of fun for that, and we'll set it up on the women's side as well. Yeah, it was disappointing they didn't win the Big 12 tournament title. I think they were a little tired and gassed, and Iowa State did a great job defending them yesterday. They lost that game, but we knew it wasn't going to affect the seeding for either team. I said going into the game, said it on the air, Iowa State will be a 5 seed, Texas will be a 4 seed, no matter the outcome of this game. And that's exactly what happened. And I was not being any kind of a genius or Nostradamus by that. It's the same thing I knew Saturday night. As exhilarating as it was from the Texas perspective that they win, they weren't going to be a one seed. They weren't. They were not going to unseat Purdue. They were not going to unseat Houston.
Once they beat TCU, they were locked into a 2.
As a 2, absolutely. In fact, once they beat Oklahoma State, I think they were locked into the 2. But they weren't going to rise any higher, except maybe in the 2s possibly. But it's okay. You get the bracket. It is what it is, and now you go to work, and that means going to Des Moines, Iowa, and to our man CB on the Specs text line at 337-3776. Wanted to know. He said, "Are you guys going to be doing the show from Iowa on Thursday?" There'll be some measure of things going on with the show. Jeff's travel plans are coming together. My travel plans are still being formulated. But obviously we'll be in Iowa on Thursday. So we're planning on doing things like that. Jeff will be covering the team and up there. So that includes the news conferences on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen a media schedule on that yet.
I have not yet either, no.
So we're formulating all of those plans, and obviously the plans will be formulated around.
You know what? Let me check my email because I got my credential approval this morning.
Good
and I
on
don't know
you.
if there was a schedule in there, so just give me. Why don't you let me?
I'll give you a minute to look on that.
this.
And our Specs text line is open at 337-3776, 512-337-3776, for example. And we're here to answer these kinds of questions. Phil says, Seaway, I'm confused. Why does Des Moines, Iowa get to host West and Midwest games? What am I missing? The only thing you're missing on that is, and this happened a few years ago, the NCAA made the decision, and this was all in the interest of balancing the bracket from the Sweet 16 forward, that in the pods, first and second round, it didn't really matter where you played. It was, they were going to reward the teams, the higher-seeded teams, Alabama, of course, playing in Birmingham, Kansas getting to play in Des Moines, that sort of thing, whenever possible, try to reward the teams there. So you do that. Now, this causes a trickle-down effect, so you have to kind of balance the bracket on that. But the number one goal for them on that deal is to make sure that they get it balanced in terms of the Sweet 16. So, in other words, it doesn't matter where you start. It's no longer 4 games in the exact same bracketing region. You could be anywhere in the country. You could be Sacramento. You could be Albany. You could be Orlando, Des Moines. It doesn't matter your first 2 rounds. Then you get to the region. That's the thing that's paramount on their mind. So that's why. And they changed that a few years ago. I want to say, gosh, it may have been 5-6 years ago. Something
I think
like
it
that.
was
Maybe even longer.
That,
yeah, that they did that. Somebody said, can you remind the audience of Texas schedule this weekend? Thursday, Saturday, Des Moines, correct. What times? And hopefully back to Kansas City. Thursday evening, it's a 6:25 tip-off. I hate when they do that. I mean, because then we're kind of caught betwixt and between with a 30-minute pregame show that everything's kind of uniform and stuff like that. So it'll accelerate things, but we'll be on the air at 6 o'clock on the network with that, and then a 6:25 tip-off on Thursday. If the Longhorns advance, they would play Saturday, and we do not know yet the start time for that. CBS, the CBS Turner family, will wait to see what matchups are coming together, and then they decide the start time of the second round. I can tell you this right now. You can probably take it to the bank. It doesn't even matter who the matchup is. You can almost bet on it that the first game of the day on Saturday, which will be like noon, right around there, will be from Greensboro. They always, whenever Greensboro, Charlotte, one of those hosts, they do that second round game. It's a standalone game that starts right around the noontime hour. But then the rest of it is just slotted in depending on what the matchups are. So it could be anywhere. I'd say usually a good guideline on that second round game is around 4:30 in the afternoon. They have a tier of games that are like 4:30 or 4:40 and 7:10, something like that. So just keep that in mind. But I would say that's a good guideline. And then, yes, if the Longhorns do win 2 games in Des Moines, no guarantees, but if they do win 2 games in Des Moines, they would then return to Kansas City for the Sweet 16 game, and if they win that Elite 8 game. So that's how that works.
So we can answer stuff like this too.
Yep.
And when we get into bracket stuff,
sure,
we can take care of this now. Gary wants to know, we, as in Texas, spanked Kansas twice. How are we not a number 1 seed? Kansas got punished for losing those 2 games to Texas. Their punishment, they were not going to drop to the 2 line. They had 17 quad 1 wins. It was the most in the country. They won the regular season in the Big 12, the toughest league in the country. Kansas was not going to drop from the 1 line. But Kansas's punishment for losing those 2 games to Texas was they don't get to be in that Midwest Regional and go through Kansas City for a path to the Final Four. They got to go out west and go to Vegas.
Yeah, exactly. So understand with regard to Kansas, they had more quad 1 wins than anybody. It wasn't even close. Close was Texas, actually.
Baylor had the 3rd most quad 1 wins.
Yeah.
It might have been tied with somebody. But the number I heard, and I'll look this up and confirm, Kansas had more quad 1 wins than Baylor had quad 1 games played.
That's correct. They had 17. Texas had 14 quad 1 victories, and that included the Big 12 tournament as well. That was one of the biggest criteria. You need only look at the NCAA tournament selection field for those who got in and those who did not. I'm looking at you, Oklahoma State, as to quad 1 games. Now, Oklahoma State became a big target point of conversation for not getting into the field, and they're saying, well, they played 18 quad 1 games. Yeah, and they lost 12 of them. You've got to do better in the 333 winning percentage in quad 1 games. For years, the conversation, and a lot of this was pointed at Jim Boeheim, you got to schedule people. You can't play St. Leo's or Lemoyne. They really played those teams. You can't play Division II and Division III teams. You have to play representative teams. So then you come up with a quadrant system. And, Linda asked me, she said, what does that mean? And I said, the quadrant thing rated in the top 50 or 60 teams in the country in that computer setup. So play those teams, and that was the deal for years. Clearly, the message from the tournament selection committee this year was you got to play those games, and you got to win some of those games. Now, you don't have to play 18 of them. Like you said, Baylor played, I don't know how many there were. They're less than Kansas won. It was less than 17.
Well, Baylor ended up playing in 21 quad 1 games is what I'm seeing here.
Okay, so how did they do in the quad 1s?
11 and 10.
See, there you go. At least they were 500 in those. They played a ton of them and finished 11 and 10.
See, Iowa State was kind of in the same realm. They played 21. They won 10 of them.
Okay, that's right around the 500 mark. Can't go 6 and 12. In quad 1 wins and have a 5-game losing streak and get swept by Texas, Kansas. What was it? There was somebody else that Kansas State. You can't play go 0-6 in those games in the regular season and then lose the other one in the conference tournament. You have to be able to win some games out of that, and that's the reasoning for it.
If Texas was going to get a 1, you would have needed, I don't even think Alabama, because with Alabama being the 1 overall, it doesn't sound like there was anything that was going to happen that would have moved them off the 1 line.
The only one I would have thought that they possibly could have gotten in might have been Houston or Purdue, and Houston partially because of the uncertainty regarding Sasser.
Right. Houston did finish number 1 in the net.
Yes.
So that's a big deal. Purdue was the one that had Purdue lost in the Big Ten quarterfinals.
Then there would have been much more questions about it. I think there's no doubt about it. So somebody else asked, is any updates on Bill Self is going to be coaching? I think he got just charged from the hospital and said he was planning to coach the team in the tournament. So I'll bet my last shekel Walton does his broadcast sipping perf and puffing a split. Well, if he's doing that, it'll be in the NIT. He's not on the NCAA tournament team. That's a disgrace. I should be able to call whatever games I want. It's a watershed moment for the Conference of Champions.
It's really strange to me how Bill Walton has jumped on this thing with the Pac-12 as a conference has. Where there's no truck stops in this league.
There's no truck stops here. Okay.
Well, congratulations. Your league is, one decision by Brett Yormark away from being defunct. So
could get to that.
Congratulations.
Could be the conference of former champions, past champions. He loves to say conference of champions on that. Somebody else asked, Craig,
it's so good USC and UCLA are getting the hell out of there.
Yeah. Somebody asked, what's the schedule for the Austin region for Texas women? They'll play East Carolina on Saturday. That's a Saturday, Monday. So if the Longhorns take care of business, the men, on Thursday, the Texas men and women will play on the same day on Saturday. Again, don't know the start times. They play on the same day on Saturday. And the men would be playing a second-round game. The women will be playing their first-round game against East Carolina. That'll be on, I think it's ECU's first tournament appearance since 2007.
Man.
So anyway, they'll be playing them in the first round. If they win that game, it's on to a second-round matchup in all probability against Louisville, who they played very early in the season and lost to out in the Bahamas. On back. So that's how it sets up for the women. And then the women are in what's called the Seattle 4 regional. I know. It's kind of a weird deal. I was sitting there watching that thinking, isn't there a better way to call this? That, I understand the direction the women's tournament's going with this. There's going to be 2 Sweet 16/Elite 8 sites. Only 2, not 4. Like for the men, there's Madison Square Garden in New York, KFC Yum Center in Louisville, T-Mobile Center in Kansas City, and T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. So they have their 4 regular Sweet 16 Elite 8 sites like you normally see. The women are trying something different this year, and it's all obviously attendance boosted and driven. One site, Greenville, South Carolina, will host 2 regionals. Greenville 1, I guess it's Greenville 2. I think it's Greenville 3 because they then
put the way the brackets match up. Okay.
Yes.
Here's what I think they should do.
And then the other one is Seattle.
So
Seattle 2 and 4.
Seattle 4.
And Texas would be in that Seattle 4 regional. If they win 2 games, you talk about what could be a brutal Sweet 16 bracket for the women.
Against Iowa.
And Stanford first.
Oh, it'd be Stanford first and
so
Iowa.
They'd have to beat. It'd be hard enough to beat either Stanford or Iowa. They'd probably have to beat them both to get to the Final Four.
I feel like you should name your brackets after iconic coaches when it's just wheels off. You don't want to do the regional things. Like have one be the Jody Conrad bracket.
Yeah.
One's the Pat Summitt bracket.
Sure.
Or whatever.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I like that idea. So anyway, there's that kind of stuff. So anyway,
could you name a bracket after Gino Auriemma, even though he's an active coach?
I don't think you could. I think they'd have to put in a rule you can't be an active coach.
Is that like that bit where if you're alive and you get a statue, it's kind of some people look at that as being a little weird.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You mean like in Fort Worth for Gary Patterson? That kind of deal. Yeah. Okay. All right.
I don't know. It's kind of cool if you get one while you're alive. You
absolutely.
can go admire it or whatever.
Okay. All right. Coming back, we'll have our Longhorn
High
notebook.
Five yourself on your through the plaza.
Do we have things other than a couple of these audio hits?
No,
we're gonna do? Okay,
we'll get to
good.
football next hour. We'll just
Good.
unload the truck on whatever we got with basketball.
All right. We're going to do that coming up here on a Bracket Monday edition. We do have Inconceivable today. Neither you nor I were able to be on the air during what would have been Inconceivable on Friday because I was only able to do the first 30 minutes before getting over to Municipal Auditorium to set up to do the women's game on Friday. And you had the media availability with Sark after the Friday practice and then scrambled up here for the second hour of the show. So we didn't get to any Florida stories. I got one for you for today for Inconceivable. So a little bit of a rollover to that. So anyway, we'll get to that coming up. This is Light the Tower on the Horn, 104.9, 101.9 AM 1260. We're live, local, and digital on the Horn app and hornfm.com.
Chad and Zay.
You know what'd be really cool, Zay? If they had like some kind of a technology that would allow Mike McCarthy to tell Kellen Moore during the game that he wants to run the ball more. I don't know, like a headset. And it could have a microphone on it. And maybe you could have a button that he could press. And when he pressed that button, his voice would go into Kellen Moore's head. And he could say, dude, let's run the ball a little bit. Our defense is killing it today. Why don't we give Pollard some more carries?
Weekdays 12 to 3 on the Horn.
You know, I wanted to remind you that we could get to the real stormy side of time of the year when you think about it. You've heard me tell you about Divided Sky Roofing and Solar. Remember when a lot of us were losing power for a day or more? Well, they can set you up with a backup battery or a Generac generator to help stay away from that. But don't forget, they're the experts that we trust for all of your roofing needs. If you're concerned that you might have had some roof damage in those recent storms, or if you get clobbered in what storms could happen this spring, you can trust our friend John Hardy to give you an honest assessment. And if you do have some damage, it is possible you can get a new roof with Timberline solar shingles. Maybe you've checked into solar in the past and you think it's just too expensive. Well, all solar products are eligible for a 30% tax credit. That means no money down also, and as little as $100 per month. And with solar shingles, you basically own your own power. You're paying yourself each month, not the power company. It's just a 15-minute phone call with Divided Sky, or even one of those virtual online appointments. You can get all the information you need on a new roof with solar shingles. Why not get in touch with them today? The number is 512-995-ROOF, or check them out on the web at DividedSkyAustin.com. It's TEC license number 37397 for DividedSkyAustin.com.
Come out to Rodeo Austin for a real Texas experience featuring the toughest cowboys, rowdiest bulls, and live music. Friday, March 23rd, it's Flatland Cavalry.
Pray to God I see your face again.
Join us March 10th through the 25th. Get your tickets now at RodeoAustin.com. Your ticket purchase helps grow the next generation of Texas kids. Presented by Coors Banquet, HEB, and RAM. Rodeo Austin. It takes grit to grow the next generation.
How about a little history tour for you? 10,000 years worth to be exact. What is it? Inner Space Caverns, of course. Located in the depths below Georgetown, your guided adventure tour is ready to take you and your family into the living cavern along a well-lit pathway through time and space. Inner Space Cavern. Take the Hidden Passages tour, the Wild Cave tour. No reservations required. Hit InnerSpaceCavern.com for more tours, times, and even a coupon. Inner Space Cavern. Well lit, safe, and really cool. Adventures await. Come explore.
The average home sold with Orchard sells within 1 month. And with Orchard's win-win program, you can win twice. Here's how. Win number 1. Orchard can make you a solid, guaranteed cash offer for your home. I'm talking a serious cash offer from Orchard, not some home buying company trying to lowball you. But here's where it gets better for you. Orchard will handle the sale of your old home, including upgrades, listing, and showing. Here's win number 2. When Orchard sells your old home for more than your cash offer, you keep the extra. You win again. That bears repeating. Orchard not only guarantees the sale of your home, but when it sells for more than they offered, you keep the upside. I love that. Orchard's win-win program gives you the confidence you will receive the maximum value for your old home without all the hassles of selling it. If you're curious what Orchard would pay for your home, get a no-cost, no-obligation offer at Orchard.com. Orchard.com.
Let's be honest, a jewelry store is not where most guys want to be. Guys like Paul Goodall.
First-time diamond buyers, most of us are engagement ring buyers. We have no idea whatsoever what we're walking into, and we push it off, and we push it off, and we push it off.
But like so many other men, Paul was pleasantly surprised when he walked into Diamonds Direct.
When you go in, you don't have to have a big background in gemology. They don't look down the end of their nose at you, as you would find in some other places, and make you uncomfortable because you're not an expert in diamonds.
But by the time he left, Paul was an expert in diamonds, because Diamonds Direct took the time to educate him, show him the inside secrets of the industry, and give him the tools to make a smart decision.
They do a really, really good job of laying out the information for you and not pressing you.
Diamonds Direct, a guy-friendly jewelry store where you're always treated with respect.
The great thing about Diamonds Direct is they alleviate that stress.
So relax, guys. It's Diamonds Direct. We've got your back. Get directions and store hours now at DiamondsDirect.com.
Hi, I'm Brad with Homes by Avi.
And I'm Erin Bowersock.
We are currently offering incredible incentives at all of our communities across the Austin area.
To learn more about how these incentives can save you money on your new home, visit yourlonghornlender.com.
NMLS number 1326241.
Like the Tower with Craig Way and Jeff Howe.
I've done my sentence, but committed no crime. And bad mistakes, I've made a few. I've had my shells and kicked in my face, but I've come through. I need to go on,
This kind of reminds me of a little humorous thing that I witnessed yesterday. Inside of T-Mobile Center on Saturday night, when the Longhorns won the Big 12 Tournament Championship, conference tournaments and NCAA tournaments do this as well for their national championship. They have everything slotted down in terms of the time they allot for on-court celebration stuff when the game ends. In fact, I saw a timeline for it several years ago, and it's actually slotted in there listed as spontaneous celebration. There's like some time where they give them like 4 minutes or whatever and doing that, and then they start, rolling out the platforms for the podium to present the championship trophy. So the Big 12 was no different than any other league in doing that, and they did that on Saturday. So there was that sort of thing. Then, and I watched, and it was like, the confetti cannons and all this. Certain music things were played, including "We Are the Champions." Brett Yormark, the commissioner of the Big 12, gets up on the platform, and Chris Budden of ESPN is kind of emceeing the thing. I don't know that they showed this part of it. Jeff, did they show it on the post on the podium, the platform celebration, the presentation of the Big 12 tournament trophy?
I
or
was
had
so
they moved
engulfed
on?
in work at that point,
Yeah.
I wasn't even paying attention.
I think they had moved on to the next game on the list, I think, which could have been the Pac-12.
That it was.
The championship there with Bill Walton working.
See,
it could have been that.
Your Walton is good. It's kind of it's kind of getting close to Jim Rome territory a little bit.
Well, they're both Californians. What would you expect?
California.
Yeah. So I don't know if they showed this, but we're doing this, and they get to the presentation of the championship trophy, and Brett Yormark, the commissioner, stands up there and he gets on the PA and he goes, "I want to thank the city of Kansas City for a great job. Kansas City, you're outstanding. I want to congratulate the Kansas Jayhawks on a great season. Wish them luck in the NCAA tournament. But this week, it was all about Texas." And cheers go up and they present. Okay. So that happened. I swear to you, it happened in exactly the same way. He said it on Saturday. Yesterday, I'm doing the postgame and then wrapping up after the Texas women lost to Iowa State. Confetti cannons go off. We Are the Champions played. Chris Budden, again, emceeing the thing, hands the mic to Brett Yormark, and he goes, "I want to thank the city of Kansas City. You did a wonderful job. Thanks for coming out. I want to congratulate Texas on a great season. Good luck in the NCAA tournament. But this week, it was all about Iowa State." I mean, it was like a script. He had it exactly memorized.
Did he allow Fat Joe to remind everybody that he left Atlantic?
How about Fat Joe being there? How about Shaq being there?
Yeah, that was cool.
Came by and gave me a look. He's like, I remember.
Cameron knows Fat Joe left Atlantic.
Yeah.
Of course.
That's true. All right, sir, you got that. And somebody said they did show the celebration on ESPN Plus. So good on that. And by the way, I don't know how many other folks had the difficulty with this. This might have been a DirecTV thing only. Linda had to watch the game itself on ESPN Plus because the game was on one of those reverse mirror things with the ACC. But I think they got it confused to DirecTV, so you could not get the Big 12 Tournament Championship game, I think, locally in the greater Austin area if you had DirecTV. You had to watch it on ESPN Plus if you had it, which we did, and she did, but it was like the ACC. And on the other one was like St. Peter's and Iona playing in the MAC, the Metro Atlantic thing. So you had that going on. So it was a weird deal on that. All right, it's time now for a Longhorn Notebook.
Jeff Howe's Longhorn Notebook.
A Longhorn Notebook that is brought to you by Aaron Bowersock, your home loan expert, and your Longhorn lender. Be sure to check her out on the web at bowersockteam.com, just like it's spelled, BOWERSOCK, bowersockteam.com, and see if she can do for you what she did for Linda and me, and that's to get that home loan approval turned around in a snap. She is, after all, the person who can make that 10-day home loan approval guarantee a reality. Again, check her out at bowersockteam.com, just like it sounds, BOWERSOCK, bowersockteam.com. All right, so here's a couple of the conversations. I'm going to start it off with Marcus Carr, and this is when, it was literally right after the game was over and the celebrations going, and they were up on the stage and they got the trophy, and Dylan DeSue got his Tournament Outstanding Player Award. And then they kind of have it's almost like a conga line. They got this line going with the guys rolling through and the assistant coaches and GAs and all getting a chance to snip off a piece of the net. But Marcus Carr came over to visit with. There was one point, Jeff, in the second half where I think when the Longhorns went up 15 and Kansas called a timeout, but it was right before that, and Marcus is running back down the floor. And he looks up and he's got a smile on his face. He comes over and he fist bumped me in the middle of the game. Who's doing that?
That's awesome.
So, but Marcus was obviously in a good mood. Here's the conversation we had with him.
Marcus, I know this has to be a very special moment for you and for the guys. Can you describe how this feeling is right now?
Yeah, it is amazing. You're right. It's an amazing feeling, kind of surreal. This is what we set out here to do this weekend and all season long. This was a part of the journey that, we wanted to accomplish. We didn't get the regular season done, but we came in here with that same chip on our shoulder that we wanted to get this one. And, it's still more work left to do, but I'm proud of these guys. I'm super happy for these guys, and we're going to keep building on it.
Dylan talked about defense when he was up on the stage. I know you guys felt like defense was going to be a big part of it. You guys did a great job denying DeJuan Harris, didn't allow him to get in the lane. That's kind of the formula you had a week ago. And I know that means an awful lot, be able to shut down a guy like that.
Oh, no, for sure. DeJuan's a great player, one of the best guards in the country, and, he's really the key to their offense, and he gets them going. He gets their guys going. So we show him great respect, and by that we try to take him out the game. And, it's still tough at times. He does a great job facilitating, and obviously he's a great defender as well. So, he's a really good player. It's been fun going up against him, but the coaching staff just had a great game plan for us, and we came out and executed.
Marcus, all the late nights and early mornings that no one understands or sees, it makes it all worth it. You guys are working together and developing your game. That's what it's all about, isn't it?
100%. All the sacrifices, all the things that we go through, and not just us, the people who support us, our families, everything who does it, anybody who does anything for us, our coaching staff, all the supporting cast that helps us, do what we do on a daily basis. This championship is ours, but it's just as much theirs as it is ours.
Hey, I'm going to let you go cut down some net. I appreciate the time. Congrats.
Thank you, guys.
All right, so that was before some of the net was cutting down. Then you get Brock Cunningham. And Brock comes over, and he's always in a good mood. That's a guy who never has a bad day. So he was enjoying himself, but also kind of with a mind toward what was still to come.
He's holding the big placard that says Big 12 champs. I get the feeling that you're probably not willing to let go of that right now.
Yeah, it's sweeter the second time, so just happy to be here.
Yeah, I mentioned, take nothing away from what happened 2 years ago, but this might seem a little more fulfilling. You played 3 games, you took on Kansas. Yep. Not only took on Kansas, you beat Kansas, and you beat them soundly in Kansas City. That's got to mean something.
Yeah, for all the people that weren't here today, this was a home court advantage for sure with Kansas. So it does mean a lot to get this win, and it's something that I'll remember for the rest of my life.
There's still work to be done. I know you guys are playing probably the best ball. I know you're excited to get ready for next week, but good luck to you. Get some rest, and that plane may fly itself back home.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Brock, tomorrow, I guess the team will watch the selection show together, and then it's about going back to work and getting ready for the big dance, the one that matters most, right?
Yep, and fortunately I have experience of winning this tournament and then not having the next game go as you want, so I'm going to try and help lead the team into not having that kind of hangover from this tournament and get into the NCAA tournament rolling.
Yeah, so already with an eye toward that. And he said something very similar in the post-game news conference as well I remember about the how unhappy and how unfortunate it was to lose as a 3 seed to the 14 seed after that. So that was in the back of his mind.
Yeah, that still hurts.
Yeah. Dylan DeSue was the tournament's most outstanding player, and that's a great story given what the guy that he's a local product, that he started off at Vanderbilt, that he transferred back in, had to undergo some serious knee surgery and really had to work through it and had battles with it even afterwards, especially last year, but even at the start of this year, and has come on strong and maybe is the Longhorns' most consistent at both ends of the floor player right now at the end of the year. And he was holding his outstanding tournament player award as he came over to join us in the postgame.
So Dylan comes over to join us right now. The Big 12 Conference Tournament outstanding. Let me look at this trophy here. There it is. That's pretty impressive stuff there. I know you feel it's a team thing, but it's also got to be a pretty satisfying moment for you, isn't it? With everything you've gone through and the injuries and all that, and coming back to be able to have a tournament like this, to be able to play like this.
Yeah, I mean, it's a blessing for sure. I mean, there's no other way I can describe it. I definitely feel like none of this would have been possible to this weekend without my teammates. So, I mean, they found me whenever I was open, and I just made the last play. They made the first one. So, it's definitely a team award in my eyes.
You set up on the stage there was about defense today. Talk about that and what you guys did to really put the clamps down on this Kansas team.
Yeah, I mean, we knew that Jalen Wilson was a guy that is going to try and go get his every night. But if we locked in on the other guys around him and made sure that they didn't, get theirs tonight, then we'd have a good chance of winning the game, and that's what we did.
Once you got the big lead, how important was it to be able to make sure to keep your foot on the gas, to not allow them to have a comeback?
I mean, yeah, our team has been talking about it all week, and the last couple of weeks at March is all about finishing and advancing. You got to finish halves, possessions, games, and then advance. And so that's what we've kind of been locked in on, is just finishing every possession with a rebound, or finishing every possession with a great shot, getting back on defense so that we can finish the game or the half and come out victorious.
How excited are you to be taking the next step next week?
I mean, super excited. You know, it's always I played in March Madness last year, but it's always fun. I guess it's been my dream since I was a child, so getting to play again is just another blessing.
All right, so I've held your trophy. I'm going to hand it back to you. I'm going to let you go cut down some net. Congrats, Dylan.
All right, thank you.
All right, and so there's that. And then finally there's the head coach, and this was after he'd gotten a chance to cut down the net and come over, and clearly in a very joyful mood was Longhorns interim head coach Rodney Terry.
We welcome me back. Continue with the Bud Light postgame show. The Texas Longhorns are Big 12 Conference tournament champions, and we're pleased to be joined by the man who just cut down the final strands of the net, Longhorns interim head coach Rodney Terry. You and I talked about this the other day. I said, you've been down this road. You did it with Fresno State, but I know this has to be an incredibly gratifying moment for you, not only for you personally, but for these guys and your staff, all of whom you work so hard with.
You know what, Craig? I give God the glory right now. I tell you, these guys here, I'm so proud of this group here. I mean, just the way they've handled themselves, through adversity this year, and they just stayed the course and just kept working. And the Big 12 was a goal of ours. I mean, obviously we still want more right now. We got the big prize to play for, but these guys deserve to be here, and they earned the Big 12 championship today against a top team in the country.
Was the formula similar to what you used a week ago? Because it was denying Dwan Harris just was rendered at times useless, what you did last week and today against him.
Yeah, when you're able to take him out of initiating their offense, they really struggle with what they want to do. They can't come down and run their offense quite the way they want to, efficiently and everything. I like to also, pass on best wishes to Coach Self, Hall of Fame coach. A lot of respect for him and his program. And, but again, I'll give my guys a lot of credit today. They just came out and really guarded hard for 40 minutes and really wanted it today more than they did.
Rodney, I thought you swarmed the ball so well. Help side position, a phrase you hear coaches say. It looked like at times on defense you had 7 guys out there.
Man, we were really locked in. We were trying really hard to protect the paint. We did a great job at our place in game 2 protecting the paint, and knew we had to get back and take the fast break points away. I don't know how many turnovers we ended up having, but, taking care of the basketball was a big part of the game plan as well, and our guys did a great job just controlling this game.
You also told everybody who kept asking you about Marcus, said, don't worry, Marcus will be fine. He'll do, and he found ways to affect the game offensively, not just with the three-point shot, with his drives to the hoop as well.
Well, again, another great win, team win. Marcus Carr's a primetime player. On the biggest stage, he's going to step up and he's going to deliver. Jabari delivered for us too in primetime, as well. And what Dessou did over the last couple games and everything. So, again, just really proud of my team.
Could you be any happier for a guy than for Dylan Dessou to win the tournament outstanding player?
I mean, this guy's worked so hard to come back from his injury, and, he's playing his best basketball at the right time, and just so excited for him.
All right, Rodney, tell Longhorn fans about the plan now. I know you're coming home tonight, and then what the plan will be. Obviously, you'll watch the selection show together, and then the prep time that goes into that.
You know what, Craig? I haven't even get any thought for it.
That's a good thing.
We played a top team in the country today, and we'll start putting together our plan for what we're going to do selection Sunday, and we just wanted this Big 12 championship so bad, and that's all we've been focused on here the last couple of days.
Well, I'm going to let you enjoy it. Thanks for the time. I appreciate that.
Hey, Craig, appreciate you.
All right, there it is with Rodney Terry. I'm glad they got a chance to enjoy that, and then they dived right into it to start getting ready for the Colgate Raiders, who lead the nation in three-point field goal percentage.
The Kevin McCullough loss for Kansas, it kind of evened out the playing field with Texas missing Timmy Allen.
Yep.
But you look, the most impressive thing, Craig, and I know people look at the scores and you look at what Texas got from an offensive standpoint, what they did defensively in the 2 wins over Kansas. I think Grady Dick and DeJuan Harris, I think they were combined like 4 for 17 shooting in the game in Austin. They were 6 for 18 on Saturday. Dick was 0 for 5 from 3. And you're going to win a lot of games. Harris turned the ball over 4 times. You're going to win a lot of games against Kansas when you do that. And Texas has kind of given teams, look, it's easier said than done. They've kind of given teams the blueprint on Kansas.
Yeah.
Like, Jalen Wilson's going to get his. If you don't let Harris initiate the offense, you make it really hard on Grady Dick to get shots off, you're going to have a good chance to beat them.
Look very, very similar to the game last Saturday.
Yep.
Again, we could go Saturday. At halftime, David Lawrence, who's on the Jayhawk radio network, said to me, we were chatting at halftime, he goes, "You guys are doing it to us again." I said, "What?" And he goes, "You're keeping DeJuan Harris out of the paint.
Yep.
You're denying him getting inside." He goes, "That's the key." And he can't distribute that way. He can't shoot that way. And they just did. They guarded him really well.
Go back to watch the game in Lawrence and look how much success he had breaking them down, penetrating, getting into the paint.
Huge difference on that. Okay, coming up, we'll have Inconceivable. We'll do that. And then we've got hour number 2 of the program. By the way, I can let you know it is official now. The Texas women's game, Saturday night at 9 o'clock. As I look at Cam Parker, the engineer for that broadcast. Saturday night, 9 o'clock. It'll be preceded by the 5-12 matchup, Louisville and Drake, which will be at 6:30.
No, Austin's in the Central Time Zone, right?
I think they're doing that with an eye toward when the men might be playing earlier.
Okay.
Because trying to keep apart the two start times apart.
So you could play it earlier in the day?
Yeah, maybe it could be. It'll be 9 o'clock. Right. 9 o'clock on Saturday night. And so you'll hear it on 105.3 The Bat at 8:45, the airtime, the tip-off at 9 o'clock as Texas.
Get your pom-poms and a Red Bull.
Absolutely. Get ready for Texas and ECU on Saturday night at Moody Center. Up next, we bring in Inconceivable here on a Monday on Light the Tower on the Horn, 104.9, 101.9, AM 1260. Live, local, and digital on the Horn app and at hornfm.com.
Bucky and Aaron.
We stand on the sideline, not catch balls. I mean, somebody's going to see that.
Which would lead to the lack of continuity within the passing game. If he's your number one target and he's not practicing much with a young quarterback, I mean, all that kind of, okay, well, that makes sense. Well, why didn't you move to a different target?
When you say this, I don't have to tell you everything. Okay, I got that. We got that part.
Him saying that, you didn't have to tell us yesterday either. I mean,
that's right. There you go. Thank you. You didn't have to tell you. He's got a cast on. We got it.
We didn't need to know that. We'd have never known.
We'd have never known. You're right.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 10 on the Horn. Mike Harge here for Allstat Beer. No impurities, no regrets. Allstat has a beer for everyone, whether it's an Allstat Light, Lager, Kolsch, or even an Amber. Allstat Brewery, German beer made here right in the heart of the Texas Hill Country. They only use fine German hops, malts, and yeast, and of course, that natural spring water. Allstat Brewery, German beer made here that I want you to enjoy. Allstat Beer, no impurities, no regrets.
Callahan's General Store is exercising its green thumb to help you prepare your lawn for the spring and summer months with their expert helpful tips for a healthy lawn. Now's the time to put down 15, 5, 10 plus iron fertilizer to bolster those turf grass roots for the warmer days and nights ahead. And you want to keep those nasty grub worms away with their all-natural granules like cedar to protect those root systems from armadillos and skunks. Callahan's General Store, 501 Bastrop Highway between downtown and the airport. And remember, make it a Callahan's Day.
I realize the complexities of the human body and its ability to heal itself.
That's orthopedic surgeon Dr. John Herzog talking about regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics.
It's a very well thought out process, and they use it in all the professional teams around the world.
Regenerative medicine uses healing agents from your own body, like your blood or bone marrow, highly concentrated and delivered right to the achy joint.
By putting it in the spot where it can't normally get to, you can facilitate healing.
At QC Kinetics, they are the nation's leader in this exciting field of medicine. Lasting pain relief with no drugs, no downtime, and no surgery.
People are very happy to have an opportunity to get better without going through the entirety of a medical procedure.
The old ways of dealing with joint pain are no longer the only ways. Learn more about regenerative options that could help you get your life back. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 512-593-4303. That's 512-593-4303. 512-593-4303.
Folks, when is the right time to visit Jaguar Land Rover of Austin? How about today? Believe me, it won't be a hassle, and you're going to feel so secure that you are in good hands with the great staff that they have there. Since 1973, Don Snell Sr. believes it is a privilege to be the provider of all of your automotive needs. And at Jaguar Land Rover of Austin, they're going to earn your trust each and every day by giving you great customer service. And Damon Spears, the general manager there, bleeds confidence and creativity throughout the building. Jaguar Land Rover of Austin, they're the 9-time Pinnacle Award winners for overall excellence in the automotive field, the top 20 in the nation. And while you're there, folks, do say hello to Chris Matthews, who's the service manager, and Brad in pre-owned. Jaguar Land Rover Austin has 6 service advisors to help you with your decision. And do get an opportunity while you're there to test drive the Discovery or the Discovery Sports, the Range Rover, and the F-Pace Jaguar. And if you have any interest in working for a company that's the best in the business, the Snell Motor Company, give them a call today at 512-236-0000. They have openings at every level.
Did you know there are 2 things people realize when buying a bed? Mattress research is hard, and everything sounds the same. So, how do you find the right mattress? Simple. Just follow the science to Factory Mattress. At Factory Mattress, our exclusive Right Fit mattress matching technology uses science, not salesmen, to take the guesswork out of mattress shopping. Plus, come experience Smart Life, the auto-adjusting, no-compromising bed of the future.
My Factory Mattress.
Upgrade to a smarter night's sleep this weekend, and we'll pay the sales tax, while you save up to 53% on over $170,000 in closeouts, with 0% interest for 5 years. Plus, get it home smarter, not harder, with free next-day delivery, setup, and removal. Experience the benefits of deep, restorative sleep by finding the right mattress today. Shop smarter, sleep better at Factory Mattress, for the love of sleep.
My Factory Mattress.
From the UBO Business Services Studios, you're listening to KTXX FM and HD1 BK, KTAE AM Elgin, K270CO Round Rock. Craig Way and Jeff Howe light the tower.
Inconceivable! 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 Inconceivable!
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
I'll tell you another inconceivable thing. Coming up, just past the top of the hour, 11 o'clock hour, we're going to check in with Rob Lazar. He is the outstanding equipment man for the University of Texas. You may remember the story last year of him driving back from Milwaukee when the tornadoes were going through and the straight line winds from Dallas. He was driving a U-Haul truck back with a lot of the equipment. He's doing it again. Well, maybe not with the tornadoes. We hope not anyway. He's on the road as we speak right now, and I want to get him on just to give people an idea what it takes to transport an intercollegiate basketball team for the NCAA tournament. So stick around for that. It'll be worth it. Meanwhile, it's on Inconceivable, and since I'm starting off with something talking about cars or transport. This is a rather unfortunate thing, Jeff. It happened in Savannah, Georgia, over the weekend. A man was crushed to death.
Jeez.
While attempting to steal a catalytic converter from a vehicle.
Karma is a mother.
Yeah, Matthew Eric Smith, age 32, was found dead under a car, according to the Chatham County Police Department. It says evidence at the scene indicates that the man was killed while he was illegally removing a catalytic converter from the vehicle, and the vehicle fell on top of him. That's kind of rough. And catalytic converter theft case you didn't know, has skyrocketed.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's been an issue for a long time now, but really in the last, probably 5 to 7 years or so.
Interesting you put that. In according to the National Insurance Crime Bureau, catalytic converter theft has surged more than 1,200% since 2019. So relatively easy to steal. They contain valuable precious metals such as palladium, also platinum and rhodium. So, yeah, it said some of these precious metals are more valuable per ounce than gold, and their value has been increasing in recent years. The black market price for catalytic converters can be above $1,000 each, depending on the type of vehicle and what state it's from. They can be stolen in less than a minute. So, according to police last year, 39 catalytic converters from Chatham County alone were stolen in Savannah, Georgia.
My brother has been the victim of catalytic converter theft. Yep.
Wow. Okay.
Cameron, you know anybody that suffered that fate, the catalytic converter theft?
I don't even know what a catalytic converter is.
That's the thing that reduces emissions for pollution control.
Oh,
okay. That is.
No, I haven't, but my car is a piece of crap. So.
337-3776 if you want to send feedback on the Specs text line for Cameron not knowing what a catalytic converter is.
There you go.
You want to give him my Twitter handle, my dad's 247 account?
No, but I'm just saying, our texters are the same audience that roasted Ty for admitting that he smokes with a pellet grill. So
it's true. Okay. Cam, do you do a podcast? Are you on a podcast?
I co-host one with Wes Scott Eberts of Burn Orange Nation during football season.
Okay. All right. I've never met that dude before. What's he like?
Very smart guy. He's a good guy.
Okay. All right. I know you do a podcast because you get ready to go record one here in a little bit.
Right, about an hour from now. Yeah.
All right. Did you hear about the dudes that were doing the podcast in Houston and had it interrupted?
No.
Yeah. They were doing a podcast, and they were live on the air at a coffee shop in Houston. Car crashes through the window.
Oh, my God.
Right in the middle of the podcast.
Jeez.
The guy said, Nathan Reeves said, he continued the broadcast, kept on going afterwards, and said, I think we're fine.
Was your podcast that important?
He said, I think it was the extemporaneous quality of the moment.
Yeah.
Saying being able to carry on a podcast after a car crashes in the window. I've told this story, I think, on the air before, and I said it during delivering the eulogy at
so there was a disturbance at the coffee house.
There was.
Not on the field, but at the coffee house.
At the coffee shop. I told this story, I think I've told it on the air before. I know I delivered it as part of the eulogy at my mom's memorial service at her funeral back in November, because my mom had a great adventurous life. And in her 90 years. And an example of one of the adventures that didn't go well was she was driving to the store on Thanksgiving morning to get some, I think, cranberry sauce, I think it was, and going down a slight inclined hill, and had my grandmother in the car and my sister, and the brakes went out. Went right through an intersection. Fortunately, on Thanksgiving morning, the traffic is light, went straight up into the parking lot and crashed right through the front window of the supermarket. Just like something you'd see in a sitcom. Canned goods, you had canned pears going all over the floor and stuff like that. Cling peaches on aisle 3. I'm a big spill on that kind of deal. I always think about stuff like that when I hear about stuff that crashes through stuff. How often would you say you guys even set foot in a mall anymore? Do you even do it once a year?
Yeah, at least once a year.
Okay.
Christmas time.
Yeah.
Cam? Yeah, maybe like once a year. Maybe usually Barton Creek because of Nordstrom.
Barton Creek Mall's got a couple of places that my daughter, the Lego store and some other places.
Yep. Okay.
Build-A-Bear and whatnot.
I got you. Okay. Big mall in New Jersey, the Garden State Plaza Mall.
Is this that just monstrosity out there by the Meadowlands that's like
yes,
abandoned?
It is.
Okay.
That's the one. Had a big old fight on Friday night there. Big brawl in the mall, they're calling it. There. They had to bring law enforcement reinforcements racing in. there are
Gotta go
reports
through by the roller coaster and through the wax museum.
Large-scale incident happened just before 8 o'clock. Raw video shows several people jumping into this deal. It began as a disagreement and a fight between two women. So
sounds like something that would happen at the Killeen Mall back in my day.
Yeah. Some in the area apparently panicked amid the shouting and screaming, perhaps believed something worse was happening. Reports of a gun being pulled. There was no gun. There's just people throwing down. Police from neighboring towns had to join in, calling in backup all over the place.
So you had a good old-fashioned Donnybrook going on at the mall then.
And then Paramus police thanked them for their assistance before quickly declaring the situation was under control. You know, all is well, remain calm. But brawl at the mall, they're calling it there in Jersey. And where else but New Jersey would you have a brawl at the mall, right? Finally, Florida story for you here. Now, we've heard stories about this where restaurants have been, like, skimming the tips from their staff. That hadn't gone well.
Yeah.
That kind of deal. Well, now, 2 restaurants in Florida are really in trouble now for doing this. And the reason why they were doing it was to cover Dine and Dash customers. Because that, has been on the rise ever since the pandemic.
Yeah.
People go and eat and then skim out without paying. So the management in these 2 restaurants decided they were going to start skimming off the tips. 2 restaurants kept the servers' tips. And then on top of that, this was, oh, by the way, would you like to know the county?
Pinellas.
Ding, 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 ding.
Pinellas, Miami-Dade,
They're in
Hillsborough, Broward.
Pinellas, St. Petersburg. There's 2 Mexican restaurants withheld the tips earned by bartenders and servers to pay for customers who skipped out on their bills, ranged from $10 to $175 per day, and they illegally charged the workers for their uniforms to work there. So the 2 restaurants, Red Mesa and Red Mesa Cantina, had deducted the cost of employees' uniforms from their wages, meaning that some were paid less than minimum wage. They also failed to pay the correct overtime rate of a time and a half for that. And that included when some staff worked at both restaurants in the same week. A total of $190,730 in back wages and liquidated damages were recovered for the 89 affected workers.
That's not a direct sentence to the cauldron, but that would definitely cause someone to be called into kangaroo court to see if the cauldron is a fit punishment.
There you go.
Crime.
It was Pinellas County. So, yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and guess they're going to end up there, but it's not an automatic deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. We have the second hour coming up. We're going to check in with Rob Lazar and get his thoughts on the road trip north to Des Moines. He had the road trip back from Milwaukee last year. So we'll get his thoughts on moving this basketball team up for the NCAA tournament. Here in hour number 2 of Light the Tower on the Horn, 104.9, 101.9, AM 1260, where we're live, local, and digital right here on the Horn app and at hornfm.com.
Ball don't lie.
Obviously, he regressed. That was not the case by the end of 2022. So, yes, it makes sense. He had a hand injury, and that was one of the main factors in the regression. But the Kim Kardashian, Nicki Minaj, Serena Williams size, Cardi B size, Megan Thee Stallion size but here would be, okay, so why did you keep targeting Xavier Worthy with the broken hand?
Weekdays 3 to 7 on the Horn.
Hey y'all, Erin Bowersock here, your Longhorn lender. Credit card debt in the United States has hit an all-time high of $930 billion, and it's projected to be $1 trillion by the end of the year. And now, with the latest federal rate increases, you could be paying even more for that debt. I have a solution for those credit card bills that could save you thousands of dollars each month. Learn more about a simple cash-out refinance at yourlonghornlender.com and hook 'em horns.
NMLS number 1326-241.
Come out to Rodeo Austin for a real Texas experience featuring the toughest cowboys, rowdiest bulls, and live music. Thursday, March 22nd, it's Sugar Ray. Join us March 10th through the 25th. Get your tickets now at RodeoAustin.com. Your ticket purchase helps grow the next generation of Texas kids. Presented by Coors Banquet, HEB, and The Grass Patch. Rodeo Austin. It takes grit to grow the next generation.
At Anchor Bar, we don't like to brag, but we did invent the Buffalo Chicken Wing in 1964. We've been inducted into the National Chicken Wing Hall of Fame twice. We've won countless national awards. We've even been in an episode of The Simpsons. Wings the way they're supposed to be made. Always fresh, never frozen, premium chicken, fried fresh to order till it's tender on the inside and crispy on the outside. We don't bake wings ahead of time. We don't cut corners. Anchor Bar, real Buffalo wings.
It's the perfect time to transform your home or business with fresh new color. The team at CertaPro Painters of Greater Austin handles every detail, worry-free, from start to finish. CertaPro Painters is the painting service you can rely on here in Austin, whether painting inside or out. John Bennell and his team are ready to protect and beautify your space with a fresh coat of paint. Go with the pros at CertaPro Painters of Austin. Get your painting project started today at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
Seeking specialized patient-focused orthopedic care? Contact the experts at Texas Orthopedics. Our physicians offer comprehensive surgical and non-surgical orthopedic care for children and adults. Spine care, sports medicine, trauma care, joint replacement, rheumatology, and more. Whether it's a mobility or movement issue or a traumatic injury, our goal is to get you back to good health and quality of life. Visit us at TXOrtho.com to learn more and to schedule an appointment. Texas Orthopedics, the largest independent orthopedic practice in Central Texas.
Guests on the Horn appear courtesy of the Vaqueros Cafe and Cantina Hotline. Vaqueros now delivers and offers curbside pickup. For info on placing your lunch or dinner order, visit vaqueroscafe.com. It's Light the Tower, your daily look around the world of sports. With Hall of Fame broadcaster and voice of the Texas Longhorns, Craig Way, and Horns 24/7 insider, Jeff Howe, on your live, local, and independent home for sports talk in Austin, The Horn.
Second hour of Light the Tower on the Horn. Craig Way and Jeff Howe with you. Our producer Cameron Parker alongside. Glad to have you with us as well here on this Monday as we head toward the NCAA tournament with the Longhorns, of course, headed as the number 2 seed in the Midwest region. They'll open play on Thursday evening in Des Moines at 6:25. We'll be on here at 6 o'clock with the pregame for that one from the network. So we look forward to bringing you that. Coming up a little bit later on this hour, we'll also have additionally some football notes in our Longhorn Notebook with Jeff coming up at the bottom of the hour. But we want to go to the Vaqueros Cafe and Cantina hotline because I told this story last year, and I didn't tell the story. I just brought him on to tell the story. Last year when the Longhorn men's basketball team played in the NCAA tournament in Milwaukee, there were, let's just say there was transport of equipment challenges is the best way to describe that. Going up and coming back, and the man who was tasked with the responsibility of finding the way to get it all up there and get it all back, all under the correct NCAA guidelines, and did all of that expertly, is back at it again. It's Rob Lazar, who has served the university for more than 20 years as equipment manager, and he's joining us on the road again. Are you driving another big truck like you did back from Milwaukee last year?
It's actually a little bit bigger than the truck from last year because of the more curveballs that we have for traveling from this year than last. So I am coming. I'm just south of Waco right now. We're about to pass the Brazos River and heading to Kansas City tonight, and then Des Moines in the morning.
You should have just kept your hotel room, for over the weekend there probably. It might have worked out there. But, okay, I want to review for folks the deal that happened last year and then get you to describe what it is you're having to do this year. I want to start, first of all, last year, this wasn't just about driving a truck back from Milwaukee. This started before the trip, right, with the weight regulations and things that went on with the charter flight?
Yeah, so the NC2A has this little portal, though. We got to submit everything, personnel weight, personal baggage, everything, anything and everything that's going with us. Well, we did that, and when we got onto the tarmac, the pilot had some personal discretion and said that you're not using one of the cargo holds. So I was short on some space to get probably about 80 bags up to Milwaukee. Thank God we had a second plane on the tarmac and got that up. Coming back, we didn't have said second plane, so I had to rent a truck to get everything back from Milwaukee. If we would have won, I would have driven straight to Philly. Well, this year, we do the same and put everything into the portal. I am underweight. I'm happy. I think everything's copacetic. And then we get a call from CBS, and we get chosen as one of 6 teams that kind of have a behind-the-scenes look at the team and the whole tournament. So CBS called and says we're adding 6 passengers and about 1,500 pounds, which put me overweight about, said 1,500 pounds. So yesterday I scrambled and grabbed the truck, and me and my new best sidekick from last year, Cole Pedro Ramsey, co-piloting me, we loaded up the truck with the other managers. I've got our equipment, training room equipment, some personal bags, water, Gatorade, and the pedals on the floor heading north.
Now, did you load the basketball goal that you guys have been taking on the road all season long, that portable goal when you tape down a lane in the meeting room to do walkthrough stuff?
That is with us to save the weight on the plane. It's not needed in Austin until it's not needed until we need it up here in Des Moines. So it's on the trucks.
Okay.
With that tape.
Now, if I remember correctly, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, when you said last year when the pilot decided didn't want one of the cargo holds to be used, you said fortunately there was another plane sitting on the tarmac that was going unused. Didn't you load that plane with just all it was gear, and then what, you had a few managers fly on it? They were the only passengers on the flight?
Yeah, the plane didn't have a cargo hold, so we put all the bags in the seats, strapped them down, and my 2 students actually flew in the cockpit of the plane to Milwaukee.
So you had 2 students in the cockpit. Meanwhile, you've got a tuba strapped down in 14D, something like that, right?
Yeah, exactly. It might have been 15, but it was back there somewhere.
Okay. All right. So Rob Lazar is with us now. So give folks an idea of all of the gear, because it takes obviously a great amount to move a football team for a game. That's why there's an 18-wheeler to take all of that stuff. But you guys aren't transporting things in an 18-wheeler. So give folks an idea of how much baggage are you talking about to transport a basketball team, say 800 miles or so, whatever it is, up to Des Moines? What is it from here? 1,000 miles? 850? What is it up to Des Moines?
Well, it's 720 to Kansas City, and then
another 180.
3 more hours after that. Yeah,
900.
So 3 hours after that, 900 miles.
Okay, all right.
To answer your question, basically we're moving operations from BBR on campus to Des Moines. So start on the 4th floor. I'm bringing, printers, office supplies, anything and everything that the coaches are going to need to use to turn out for scouting reports, and then work on down. I've got, Warren's basically training room. Anything that he uses for the guys to get healthy, that's at BBR is on the back of the truck and rolling with us. And then from our standpoint, even Sam's standpoint with nutrition, I've got 30 cases of Gatorade, 30 cases of water, shakes, snacks, you name it. I mean, you see it when we're on the road. And then for us in the equipment room, I've got 3 of my 6 practice loops with us. I've got extra balls from when we practice off-site that's not provided. I've got weight room equipment with John Riley. So basically, whatever I could fit into the truck that was over at DBR is in the truck going to Des Moines.
How many pairs of shoes made this road trip?
So I've got the backup shoes for the guys, and then the guys haven't picked quote unquote their gamers, and then their backups for the gamers. So I've got 2 pair each right now for the guys, and then there'll be another 2 or 3 pair each for the guys coming up with the plane once they figure out what they want to wear.
Okay, so we're talking somewhere in the neighborhood of 60, 70 pairs of shoes, something like that. Okay.
Yeah, I mean to give you an idea, one backup shoe bag has got 16 pairs of shoes in it. It's close to 100 pounds.
Good Lord. Okay. And by the way, Parker Sexton, who's handling the operations, he sent out that text last night, and it got my attention saying, and is this something new, Rob? Because I don't remember from the past. The NCAA is limited on the charter. You cannot have a bag in excess of 40 pounds.
You're on that list? So, yeah, you now know why I'm driving.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, it made me nervous thinking about my radio broadcast case. However, it checked in at 34.5 pounds, so it's under the wire. It got in under that.
I'll tell you a funny story. When we were coming back from the NIT championship, the plane that we were supposed to be on got timed out. New plane. I'm on the tarmac, and the pilot calls me, and it says, "Hey, can you come up to the cabin for a second? He says, I got some questions about this weight." And he was like asking where we were at, and he goes, "Are we close to this?" And I was like, "Plus or minus, 5%." He goes, "Well, plus 5%, we got to stop in Nashville and get fuel. Minus 5%, we can make it all the way to Austin." He says, "What do you think?" And I go, "I went to LSU. I take my shoes off to get to 20. Like, stop in Louisville or to Nashville and get some fuel."
Sounds like a true LSU grad.
Right.
Well, listen, I appreciate you doing this, and drive it safe. I'll look forward to seeing you up at the hotel tomorrow. It should be an awful lot of fun, but if there's anybody that's going to safely get all that equipment there and get it in the hands of the guys to make sure that they're best equipped for success, it's you, Rob Lazar, and I appreciate you taking the time.
No worries. Have a good one, bud. Appreciate it.
All right, drive careful. That's Rob Lazar, and Cole with him, as he calls him, Pedro, his co-pilot. And they drove it back last year, and they had a little scary moment when they were going through Dallas on a flyover when a tornado blown through the air, and they had some straight line winds, and he said that the vehicle started moving laterally in the lane, but they were able to navigate it through. So they're on their way to Des Moines, Iowa.
I got a couple of things here, Craig,
Yes.
just to note before we get ready to hit this break, and I know we've got our flex update on the other side and a few other things. The final AP poll is out now. The AP releases their final poll at the end of the conference tournaments before March Madness starts.
Yep.
Texas, number 5 in the final AP poll. That is tied for the highest AP poll finish in school history with the 02-03 team. Also finished 5th in the country.
Yeah, and they spent a lot of the season at or right around that number.
I believe Texas was, they started the year at 12 in the AP poll. If I remember right, I don't think they fell lower than that the entire year.
Yeah. So excellent job by the Longhorns, and of course by Rodney Terry and the staff.
And we got to mention it because Specs text line has been blowing up. It's official. Ole Miss has hired Chris Beard as their new head basketball coach.
Yep, he is now the head coach of the Ole Miss Rebels. So we'll be seeing him in a couple of years.
I did think it was strange that the video package that Ole Miss put out for, hey, we hired Chris Beard. Nothing involving his tenure at Texas.
Really?
Really.
Okay.
All Texas Tech clips.
Okay. All right.
Is that you think that's a Texas thing or a Beard request?
I don't know, but the responses on the Twitter machine, Cam, are pretty much what you would expect in terms of the Ole Miss fans responding one way and pretty much everybody else responding another.
If you haven't looked at it, the Twitter post from the official Ole Miss account has some great replies from Mississippi State fans going back and forth. Even some Texas Tech fans get involved to it. It's pure comedy.
When Arkansas fans are getting into your mentions, you had not having a great morning.
Yeah, there it is. Off with the new adventure.
That's the league we're venturing into, Craig.
There you go. Mark that down. All right. Coming up, we will have a Flex 30 update and a Longhorn Notebook. That is next when we continue with Light the Tower on the Horn, 104.9, 101.9 AM 1260. We're live, local, and digital on the Horn app and at hornfm.com.
Chad and Zay.
Why did it need to be, he likes to light the scoreboard up. I want to run the damn ball. You're the head coach. What are you talking about? That's insane. To me, this is what the bartender in Frisco says right now. This is what the guy that owns a car dealership in Plano says right now. It's what I say right now. They need to run the ball more and really focus on that defense. He's the head coach.
Weekdays 12 to 3 on the Horn.
Well, at this time of year, certainly it might be a good time to focus on your health if you haven't done so already. If you are a guy in the neighborhood of the 250 to 300-pound weight scale and it's above what you want it to be, Total Men's Primary Care can help you regain control of your life and your weight. This is how they do it. It's a combination of coaching, diet, and exercise. And Total Men's Primary Care can help you lose the most weight while ensuring you stay healthy and then help your body develop those long-term results. It's very easy. Go online at TotalMens.com. You'll see a big yellow button that says book an appointment. You click on that button, and then you're easily able to set up the appointment for yourself or a family member at any of the 20-plus Austin area locations at Total Men's, and in most cases, be seen that same day. Taking care of your health has never been easier. Go to TotalMens.com and click on the big yellow button to book an appointment. Total Men's Primary Care, the doctor's office just for men.
Hey, what's up, folks? This is your lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers. By now, everyone knows that my favorite new tequila is Hot Cat Tequila. Hot Cat Tequila is my go-to tequila. The cat stands for cinnamon, agave, and tequila, and the recipe just as simple, just as delicious, and just as brilliant. Cinnamon, agave, nectar, and tequila. That's why it's so light and so smooth. Hot Cat Tequila is a tequila lover's dream, and if you're not a fan of tequila, Hot Cat Tequila will make you a fan of tequila. Hot Cat Tequila will turn any event into a party, and every party feels like a celebration. So celebrate and turn up with Hot Cat Tequila. Once you try Hot Cat, you won't go back to that old cinnamon whiskey or that cheap tequila you were ordering rounds of when you were just trying to get the party started. So turn up your party with Hot Cat Tequila. It's the perfect way to pregame for the big games, the concerts, festivals, or a night on the town with family and friends. Hot Cat Tequila is best served cold for a quick round of shots or a sip on the rocks. So visit CatTequila.com to find a store near you that sells Hot Cat Tequila or to find a bar near you that serves Hot Cat Tequila. Toast and turn up with Hot Cat Tequila.
Hey, it's Aaron Hogan. Those winter blues and winter months almost behind us. Best time of the year to get out of the house and be more active and do fun things in Central Texas. Well, that sounds great, but my aching joints don't allow me to do those things anymore. Well, it's time to do something about it. Stop with the steroids. Stop with the possible surgery chatter. Now there's a better way to get lasting relief for your pain. It's QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. The exciting approach uses healing properties from your own body, highly concentrated, and placed directly into your achy joints. Knee pain, back pain, shoulders, hips. Restore and repair the damaged tissue and get moving again without pain. Patient satisfaction reports are incredible and there's no downtime. Listen, the old ways of dealing with joint pain are no longer the only ways. Do yourself a favor and call our friends at QC Kinetics and ask them about using your HSA and FSA funds to save even more. Call is free. The consultation is free. Stop with the steroids. Stop with the possible surgery chatter. You have nothing to lose at QC Kinetics, 512-593-4303. That's 512-593-4303. They have a location in Austin and in Round Rock. QC Kinetics.
Hi, I'm Jenny Covert, and the Coverts offer you more than the competition, like 6 GM service locations throughout the Austin area. And to save you time and money, we offer free pickup and delivery for all your service needs. We prove it every day that no one, and I mean no one, gives you the level of service the Coverts do. That's backed by 114 years and 6 generations serving Central Texas. Give Rox or Chance a call and let us prove it. Covert Chevrolet, Highway 71 in Bastrop and Highway 79 in Hutto. Find new roads.
Craig Way for Divided Sky Roofing and Solar, where you can trust John Hardy to give you an honest assessment if you need a new roof. All solar products are eligible for a 30% tax credit. With no money down and as little as $100 per month. With solar shingles, you own your own power. You're paying yourself each month, not the power company. Just a 15-minute phone call with Divided Sky can get you all the info you need on a new roof with solar shingles. Get in touch with them today. 512-995-ROOF or DividedSkyAustin.com. TEC license number 37397.
Hey, what's up, folks? This is your lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers. Basketball bracket season has officially begun. It's time for you to shoot your shot and score big on the nonstop action with MyBookie. With so many brands to choose from, you need a platform that makes it simple to bet and win like MyBookie. Whether you're filling out multiple brackets, betting on the eventual national championship winner, or simply looking for player and game props, MyBookie has you covered. Getting started with MyBookie is simple. Visit the website online, make your first deposit, and use the promo code HORN, H-O-R-N, to claim an exclusive deposit bonus. That's the promo code HORN, H-O-R-N, to claim some extra money on top of your initial deposit. With hundreds of thousands in prizes for the Madness of March and weekly blackjack tournaments, you can turn your game day into a payday with my friends over at MyBookie. With MyBookie, you're making money before you even place your first bet. All you got to do is use the promo code HORN, H-O-R-N. Bet anything, bet anytime, and bet anywhere. As long as you're betting with my friends over at MyBookie, you know you're betting with the best.
Lock the Tower.
You can never know what it's like. Your blood like winter freezes just like ice. And there's a cold and lonely light that shines from you. You wind up like the wreck you hide behind that mask you use. And did you think this fool could never win? Well, look at me, I'm coming back again. I got a taste of love in a simple way. And if you need to know while I'm still standing, you just fade away. Don't you know I'm still standing better than I ever did? Looking like a true survivor, feeling like a little kid.
It's kind of an underrated Elton John hit from 1979. I'm Still Standing. Longhorn's still standing as well. So, that's good. Glad to have you with us here on this Monday of March Madness week. Hey, going back to the Chris Beard announcement, somebody said they heard they played All My Exes Live in Texas. The George Strait standard at the announcement. Yeah, okay. Sure, they probably did that. All right, let's go to our Flex 30 update.
Flex ATX for the best high school sports coverage. Listen to the Horn and go to FLXATX.com. Flex 30 is brought to you by Brain Vault. Brain Vault is a revolutionary and patented mouthguard that has been proven to help reduce the risk of concussion. Visit BrainVault.com and join the movement.
Well, you got all your new state champions, and there was a lot of Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex domination of the boys UIL state championship. Grayford is out west of the Metroplex. It's out by Possum Kingdom Lake, but that's in the northern central part of the state. Then you got Hitchcock down by Houston, which won the 3A over Childress. Lipan, which kind of straddles the Palo Pinto Hood County line, so that's southwest of the Metroplex. And then after that, well, the 4A goes to Faith Family Academy of Oak Cliff. Boy, they become a dominant program, that charter school, beating Houston, Washington. Kimball, unfortunately for our buddy Mike Harge and his Colleen Ellison Eagles. Great season.
And
got
Fighting
to the
Harges had a good run.
Yep, they did. Kimball took them out in the state championship round in 5A 69-48. And then Lake Highlands from Richardson. They won a title in basketball back in 1968 and not won one since. Known primarily for football for many, many years. They did win one football state title in 1981, the last year where they only took district champions to the playoffs and expanded to 32 to 64 teams, the bracket the next year, 1982. But now they have a second basketball state title. They beat Beaumont United, who had won those 5A titles before moving up classification.
Trey Johnson, by the way, the #1 overall prospect in the country for the class of 2024.
And he was the outstanding player in the 6A tournament.
29 points in the championship game.
Yeah, lived up to all of that billing. So congratulations to all of the brand new UIL State Boys basketball champions. Time now for our second hour edition of the Notebook.
Jeff Howe's Longhorn Notebook.
The Longhorn Notebook brought to you by Aaron Bowersock, your home loan expert and your Longhorn lender. Check her out on the web at bowersockteam.com. No football practice this week.
Nope, Longhorns are off. Sark was asked on Friday during that availability, what's the emphasis over spring break? And he said, I'm paraphrasing here, that life is full of decisions and choices, and make good ones over spring break. So no
That's
issues.
Succinctly put.
Yeah. Nothing fire and brimstone from the head coach on that front. But just wanted, because I felt like I rushed through everything on Friday because just getting over here. And I just want to kind of reiterate a couple things, just hit on. And you can get over to Horns 24/7 and check out my practice notes from Friday, just getting to observe for a little bit. But, I felt like the quarterbacks collectively were the sharpest they had been in the 3 times we were out there last week. And again, it was first day in full pads, and we're not watching them do much of anything except routes on air. But I just like the tempo, the rhythm, the accuracy, the way the ball was jumping out of Quinn Ewer's hand, the way it was jumping out of Arch Manning's hand. Just thought the quarterbacks looked like they were both getting more comfortable with just the practice rhythm, the routine of practice. And Malik Murphy still not throwing as of Friday. Sark said the biggest thing about the quarterbacks between that Friday practice and when the team gets back from spring break is that Malik Murphy's just got to basically do what he can to see if he can get that foot healthy to just get back on the grass and actually start participating in practice again. He's been dressed out. He just hasn't been a full participant. If he's on the shelf, Craig, for any extended amount of time, then the development of Arch Manning then becomes paramount.
I was going to say it accelerates, doesn't
it? You got to have a backup quarterback. I'll drive that home till the cows come home. You've got to have a backup quarterback. You can look at the years where Texas has needed one. You don't have to go back very far. Each year Sark has been on the job, he's needed to go to the backup quarterback by game 3. Yep. Once for performance, one was for injury. So the backup quarterback most likely is going to have to end up playing. History tells you they'll end up playing significant snaps. Sark really had some good things to say about 2 young guys that we didn't see hardly any of last year. One on offense, one on defense. Jaden Blue on offense. Mm-hmm. He talked all last fall, Craig, about how Jaden Blue made as much progress as anybody in the program from the end of spring practice, really kind of up through the bowl game. He really liked what Jaden Blue did. And you've got a running back situation now where, especially that first week, where he got a lot of work because you got Keelan Robinson dealing with the muscle strain, whatever he's dealing with. Sark hasn't been specific about the injury, but he hasn't been a full participant in practice. Jonathan Brooks hasn't been a full participant because he's recovering from that hernia surgery. So Jaden Blue's getting a lot of run. C.J. Baxter's getting a lot of run. And that's a position where, maybe a bell cow emerges, but maybe you're just going to have to replicate the production you got from Bijan and Roschon by committee. It could be all of those guys in some different way contributing. Maybe one of those guys hits the portal after spring ball. I don't know, but it's pretty much wide open for snaps as RB1 right now between that group of guys. I'll just run down the role here with the in terms of position groups. Still really like what I'm seeing out of the newcomer receivers, A.D. Mitchell, who, Friday was probably his least effective practice. We'll call it that. He let some balls hit the ground, but man, Jonte Cook is so good. Craig, you know that. You've seen plenty of him. And, Mike Roach and I were talking about this when we were having lunch at Counter Cafe after the Wednesday practice, which when I was on the phone with you and Cam that Wednesday, I was just gushing about Jonte Cook.
Whenever the Counter Cafe or on the east side?
There's the one over by campus.
Yeah. Is that the one you went to?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. The burger was top notch.
Yep.
But we're talking about, Mike and I were talking about Jonte Cook, and he's a little more explosive than this guy, but Jonte really reminds me of Kendall Sanders.
Interesting.
If you think back to when Kendall Sanders was at Texas, just the subtle explosiveness for a guy that wasn't, a big possession type receiver, just had incredibly strong hands. It was a little bit of Kendall Sanders in Jonte Cook's game, but just his ability, again, just to go from, 0 to 90 to get the top gear as quick as he can. It is extremely impressive. I thought one of the bigger developments was Cole Hudson dressing out. Like when he had the shoulder surgery, and then Sark said he was a guy that they were counting on maybe you get him back at some point after spring break. I'm like, well, that sounds like an awful quick recovery from a shoulder surgery. But to see him dressed out, he wasn't going through drills, but at least being somewhat of a participant on the periphery, we'll call him. that's a really encouraging deal because
Absolutely.
DJ Campbell's gotten to work at that right guard spot, and Cole Hudson's a guy that could factor into your mix as a backup center, especially with Connor Robertson still having the hand wrap coming off the wrist surgery. So it's a really good deal to see Cole Hudson out there. The other guy that I didn't mention with Jaden Blue switching over to defense, Dre Bledsoe's a guy we heard a ton about in the fall and a ton about in bowl practices. And Sark said right now he's really one of their best athletes on that side of the ball, period. And he's so unique because he didn't play football his senior year because of that transfer he made from Burton to Marlin, or Bremond to Marlin, from Bremond to Marlin. Didn't play as a senior. Got here in the spring, and really last spring he was doing so much catch up from not playing his senior year that it was really more about conditioning among anything for him. And then, we didn't see him last year, but he gets to be on the scout team and then bowl practices. So now you're talking about a guy at 6'4", 270-ish that has that kind of elite athleticism. He's going to factor in somewhere for this defense. I don't know where. We keep hearing great things that Byron Murphy's ready to take the next step, and you're still 4 deep at that D-tackle rotation. So I don't know where Dre Bledsoe factors into this thing. Sark said he might factor into it edge some situationally. He's a guy that they're going to – I think Sark used the term Rolodex or Rolodexing guys through that edge position opposite Barron.
Well, that's an old term, isn't it? Rolodex.
Yeah, I haven't heard that one in a minute.
Show of hands out there, the youthful of you, if you know. Do you know what a Rolodex
Cameron,
is?
do you know what a Rolodex is?
That I do know.
Okay.
Not on the Cadillac converter, but I do know what a Rolodex is. I think I had one actually growing up.
Did you really?
Nice.
Okay.
Again, can't say enough about Anthony Hill and Leonga Lafau, the job they're doing. Really like the secondary too, just from a body type standpoint. The only bad thing is Jalen Catalon still recovering from the shoulder surgery that he had at Arkansas. But it's given Keaton Crawford a time to get some reps with the ones. So that's what's so interesting about spring. It's guys that, I say the same thing about Mo Blackwell, getting some run at linebacker. Guys that we've seen as kind of core special teams guys or guys in backup roles. Now it's for some of these guys who can take that next step and become a starting caliber player. Because even though you might be number 2 on the depth chart, the way this game works, some of those backups are going to have to end up playing. And I know I talked about quarterback. Some of these other guys further down the depth chart are going to have to end up playing significant snaps for you at some point. So don't lose sight of a Dre Bledsoe, a Mo Blackwell, even, on offense like a Casey Kane at receiver, his ability to continue to develop. Gunnar Helm with as much 12 personnel as Sark likes to run. Those running backs, that's a violent position where you could churn through a few guys in a given season. So I like the depth overall on this team. From now really until you get to Rice on September 2nd, it's all about, can you take this depth and turn it into talented depth?
Yeah. The big question there for that. Okay. There's your Longhorn Notebook with
Always
Jeff
good to have
talking
a
some football.
Nice little football discussion on the show.
We had somebody on the Specs text line. Our friend Tom mentioned and said Roschon Johnson came out to watch some of the UT women's tennis match against Oklahoma State yesterday, up close and personal. He's big. Looks more like a linebacker than a running back. Good to see Rowe out there.
Rowe's about 220, between 220 and 225. He's 6'2", so.
Longhorn baseball, 5-0 on the homestand so far. This kind of beat Manhattan in the submission over the weekend and did that. They have North Dakota State coming in tomorrow and Wednesday for a double midweek, and then they continue the homestand with the Privateers of New Orleans. New Orleans was the team victimized, I think, by the horrible umpire calls.
Oh, my gosh.
The one that got the umpire suspended for those horrific strike calls.
You saw that, didn't you, Cam?
Oh my goodness! I don't know how, as a player. I mean, it was so bad. The catcher of the opposing team held back the batter because even they knew
they were throwing the ball
how
back
egregious
to the
it
pitcher.
was.
I think that was New Orleans actually benefited from it because it might have been Mississippi Valley
State.
Was victimized by it. So the Privateers will be in this weekend. That was awful. That was really bad.
I'll say one thing about the Manhattan series, because we know in this homestand before you get to that series with Tech, you're playing some winnable games.
You mean the fact that they're 259 in the RPI? Did that strike your attention?
Did you know Manhattan has a higher RPI than Baylor, though?
How about that?
At last check? Yeah. I was like, that can't be right. I'm like, oh, it's right. This was supposed to be a weekend where Texas played Oregon State.
Yep.
And when that fell through, you're at a point where you're really scrambling
to get an opponent for a weekend
Period.
series at this point late.
So from what I was told, it was either going to be Manhattan or you were probably going to have to do a 3-game with Texas Southern.
Yeah.
So
neither was
a SWAC team
yeah.
or Manhattan. At that point, it's probably going to count the same against your RPI.
And I think they have Texas Southern later in the year too.
Yeah, for a midweek. Yeah, they'll be in here for a midweek. So yeah, it's just wasn't ideal. An ideal scheduling situation. But hey, credit the Bevos. You played 3-1-3, so that's all you can do is
5-0 on the homestand.
Play
so
the ones
far.
that are in front of you.
And it's always a good feeling just to have your head above water, above the 500 mark now.
Speaking of 500, Peyton Powell is just tearing the cover off the ball right now.
Yes, he has found his groove.
It's amazing how productive he is, Craig, now that he's finally healthy.
It makes a big difference. J-Dub says, hey, what about the kid from Marlin? You just talked about the kid from
I've
Marlin.
talked about Jere Bledsoe. Yeah, Darian Gillette's still dealing with the ACL injury.
Yeah.
So he's going to be don't plan on seeing much of him maybe at all in 2023.
What's up, fellas? Any chance our seniors on the basketball team come back for a 5th year? I think the only one eligible was Dylan DeSue.
That's it.
And Dylan has said he hadn't made that decision. He was asked at the news conference and said in Kansas City, he said he hadn't made a decision. He'll talk with his family. He did go through the Senior Day celebration, but that he said he would just be able to experience that just in case he doesn't come back. He said it did not indicate for sure that he wasn't. He just wanted to have that experience, and nothing wrong with that. So he did. I mean, Jordan Shipley went through 3 of them, I think. 2 of them. He did 2 of them.
Both Scaife had a few, maybe.
Stoner wants to know why no Beavers. They opted out. They bailed out on it. Decided not to do it. So there you are with that. Somebody said any thoughts on the Academy Awards last night, Craig? I didn't get to see any of it.
I didn't watch any of it either.
I was flying back with the women's team. They didn't get started till late. So that's all I have to say about that.
I pulled my Craig Way College Sports Sicko card last night. You know what I watched instead of the Academy Awards?
What'd you?
I watched the NIT selection show.
Wow, look at you.
Yeah, I did it.
Hey, can you explain to me why? Because I'm not. All I saw was the selection. And again, I was on a plane coming back. Why Oklahoma State, the top overall seed in the NIT, is starting off on the road? Is somebody playing at Gallagher-Iba Arena?
They might have a wrestling deal at Gallagher-Iba, maybe.
Wrestling meat, as they would say in the Breakfast Club.
You know this, and people that aren't from that part of the country. Wrestling's probably about every bit as big as football is in Stillwater, Oklahoma.
That's where the Collegiate Wrestling Hall of Fame is there. It's in Stillwater. So it's big. But Gallagher-Iba not available. So they're playing at Youngstown State tomorrow night, I believe it is, or Wednesday in the NIT. Oklahoma State, the top overall seed in the NIT, and they're opening on the road, playing there. So not able to go. I did notice, let's see, North Texas made the NIT. Sam Houston made the NIT. In fact, now Sam Houston's got a tough assignment. I think they have to go out west. They have to play at Santa Clara. If they win and North Texas wins.
Okay, here it is. I'm from the Oklahoman. OSU declined to host the opening game due to a large amount of commitments for athletic staff this week. OSU is the host school for the NCAA wrestling tournament in Tulsa, requiring a large contingent of workers to be in Tulsa. OSU's women's basketball team will also be on the road for the NCAA tournament. Other teams are also on the road. So it's staffing issues.
Staffing issues. Okay. All right. So they have a staff infection, so to speak.
And even for big conference games, it's not like they were just sprinting through the turnstiles at Gallagher-Iba this season.
Right. So they're going to open on the road at Youngstown State, even though they're the top overall seed in the NIT. Sam Houston and North Texas both made it. If both win their first round games, they'll play each other in the second round, which could be a pretty good matchup in the second round of the NIT if that were to happen there. That was, I guess, probably about all that stood out to me about the NIT. That and the fact that North Carolina declined to participate.
Any thoughts on that?
Oh, I mean, I didn't really like what they articulated as the reasonings for not going.
The Hubert Davis statement.
It was very vague about development of the team. Okay, got to develop your team by playing games.
Just be honest. Like, look, we had a bad year. We just kind of want to be done with this whole deal.
Yeah. I mean, when Texas had that run under Rick Barnes making the NCAA tournament happen in 2013, They took that CBI invitation because he said, we've got a real young basketball team. We got to play games. They only played one. But he said, we need to play games. And if they'd won their first round game, what would have happened for the second round game?
I tried to block that thing out. No, I don't
They
remember.
would have been on the road at George Mason, where Rick Barnes began his coaching career.
Interesting.
They would have played at George Mason. I was hoping for that at that point. Not that I was in a tremendous grip to do a lot of CBI games, but just that whole thing, that whole theme behind that. But anyway,
Are you sitting there courtside at Hoffein's Pavilion as a rat crawls over your foot, just watching the final seconds tick? Just watching the final seconds tick down, like, man, this is sad. This is a sad ending to a season.
Well, remember, it ended in the last seconds. It was a tip-in shot. They lost something like 73-72 or something like that. They lost on a tip-in there. They didn't get to use Cam Ridley. He had an allergy issue.
That's right, yeah.
So they lost on a last-second shot. You know what stands out to me about that deal, that whole CBI thing? The day before the game, they're going through a practice, and Rick Barnes is standing there, and I'm just standing there with my engineer, Mike Pirtle, and we're hooking up equipment and stuff. And I'm standing probably about as close as I am to you, and he's just standing with his arms folded, and he's watching the workout going on, and he just says, almost like to no one in specific, except that he called my name, and he goes, "It's all going to change, Craig." And I was like, "What?" And he goes, "It's all going to change." And he was just like, without even looking at him, he was looking out on the floor, and it was almost like some big philosophical statement was coming, and I said, "What's going to change?" He goes, "This." He said, "We can't ever do this again." He said, this is all going to change. We got to turn this thing around next year. And they did, get into Milwaukee in the second round of the tournament. But I always remember him standing there going, "It's all going to change, Craig. It's all got to change." So, I remember Augie saying a very similar thing to me later that spring in 2013 about it all had to change after they didn't even make a region.
I vividly remember David Pierce at the end of 2019.
Same deal.
Sitting here, his first words were, I don't know what's going to change, but I'm not going to sit here and be 27 and 27 again.
Yep. No doubt about it. Men of action.
By the way, how big was the rat at Hoffein's?
It wouldn't have been out at courtside. It would have been in that tunnel area.
No disrespect, U of H fans. I'm sure Fertitta Center doesn't have rats.
They completely redid it. Yeah, completely
Gutted
redid it from that. Yeah, absolutely. All right, we'll be back to wrap up today's edition of Light the Tower on the Horn.
Chad and Zay.
I can't remember anything like this.
Because there's not a comparison. I mean, the most Michael Jordan's son has scored is banging Scottie Pippen's ex-wife.
and not a bad score, depending on how you look at it.
It's really not. In a way, it's a 30-point triple-double.
That's a 33 triple-double is what that is.
Why do you have to say 33?
Wasn't that Scotty's number? 33? Sorry, I just thought I'd bring it home.
Weekdays 12 to 3 on the Horn.
Hi, folks. Craig Way here for my friends at Sharp Vision Modern LASIK. I have a suggestion for you. Why not stop putting off LASIK and invest in yourself this year? Think of all the time and money you'll save without the hassles of contacts and glasses. Right now is your time for life-changing LASIK. Sharp Vision is offering LASIK starting at $495 per eye and guaranteed financing. That's right. You can finance your LASIK and start living with clear, hassle-free vision today. Why not go online or give Sharp Vision a call and schedule your free LASIK consultation. Voted Austin American Statesman's best of the best corrective eye surgeon 3 years in a row, Dr. Nicholas Lancaster and his team at Sharp Vision are ready to make your contacts and glasses a thing of the past. For LASIK starting at $495 per eye and guaranteed financing approval, go online or call to schedule your free consultation today. Sharp Vision Modern LASIK, official LASIK provider of Austin FC.
Like sports, business is about winning. Championship decisions are business decisions based on what it takes to help your company win. And that's why there's UBO Business Services, specializing in helping you win every day by streamlining workflow and allowing you to better communicate within your organization and with your customers. Make your championship decision with UBO Business Services. Visit them at ubeo.com. Great people, great service, endless possibilities.
Callahan's General Store is exercising its green thumb to help you prepare your lawn for the spring and summer months with their expert helpful tips for a healthy lawn. Now's the time to put down 15 510 plus iron fertilizer to bolster those turf grass roots for the warmer days and nights ahead. And you want to keep those nasty grub worms away with their all-natural granules like cedar to protect those root systems from armadillos and skunks. Callahan's General Store, 501 Bastrop Highway between downtown and the airport. And remember, make it a Callahan's Day.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering professional-grade industrial supplies, plus real-time product availability and access to experts ready to answer your toughest questions. Call, clickgrainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Can't bow wow. Can't bow wow, bring your schnauzer and your chow. Can't bow wow. Can't bow wow, bring your dachshund and your hound. Can't bow wow.
Does your puppy have more energy than you bargained for? Treat them to Camp Bow Wow. Your pup can burn through all that energy while romping around Camp Bow Wow's huge supervised play yard. Then they can snooze the night away in comfort. Ask about Camp Bow Wow's winter specials and package pricing.
Can't bow wow. Can't bow wow, bring your schnauzer and your chow. Can't bow wow. Can't bow wow, bring your dachshund and your hound. Can't bow wow.
They're boarding for summer, so get in quick because they fill up fast. Get reservations so your dog can play all day and snooze the night away at Camp Bow Wow. Make your reservations online at campbowwow.com or download the Camp Bow Wow mobile app.
Camp Bow Wow.
Be treated like family with Dr. Rhodes and the whole team at Lake Travis Eye and Laser Center. I got my vision back with Lake Travis Eye and Laser Center. No more cataracts, no more night blindness, no more glasses. If you're having any kind of vision issues, give Lake Travis Eye and Laser Center a call today or check them out online at LakeTravisEyeCenter.com. They are my family and will treat you like family too. The newest technology when it comes to cataracts and laser lens replacement. Lake Travis Eye and Laser Center. Tell them Ken sent you by.
When professional Austin builders and landscapers need actual metal, they go to South Austin Metals, the go-to distributor of steel products in Austin. Pouring concrete? Come see South Austin Metals for your custom cut embed and base plates, plus load-bearing flitch plates and beams for your construction or remodel jobs. For brick or rock work, South Austin Metals has the lintels or custom lintels you need. Can't get to the store? They'll bring it to you. And South Austin Metal will match or beat anybody's price. South Congress and Industrial Boulevard. Think metal, think South Austin Metals. SouthAustinMetals.com.
That's going to wrap it up for you. Now, you're out tomorrow because you're in transit to Des Moines, correct?
Yeah.
I'll be in transit to Des Moines sometime tomorrow. Still not sure when, but I'm planning on being here tomorrow morning. And then as the week progresses, we'll see what we'll see.
On tap tomorrow, Cameron will give you a rundown of the CBI bracket. Give you his projections for how that's going.
100%. All right. And a thorough investigation on what a Cadillac converter is as well.
Oh, good. We'll look forward to that.
I expect a thorough preview of Tarleton versus Radford tomorrow.
There you go. We invite you to stay tuned for Chad and Zay, for our man behind the glass, our producer, Cam Parker, and for my co-host, Jeff Howe. I'm Craig Way. Thanks for joining us. We'll visit with you next time on Light the Tower.
Ball don't lie.
Number one, when did it transpire? And number two, and most importantly, why are you designing plays for him if you know that he's